9:18 on the morning show with Jeff and Will. We are back on this fine Monday morning, and joining us as she does each and every Monday around this time, it is the editor-in-chief of Rockland County Business Journal, Tina Traster, joins us right now. Good morning, Tina. How are you this morning?
Good morning. How is everybody out there in Rockland?
We're doing pretty all right so far this morning. And yourself?
I can't complain.
Fan?
So today we're going to have a discussion about something that's going on here in the county. So imagine you're living in a single-family house, which is likely your greatest asset, and, for many years, mostly enjoying peace. Sure, you put up with the lawnmowers, the leaf blowers, maybe a nasty neighbor, but it's still your single-family house, your slice of paradise. And then one day, unbeknownst to you, your neighbor's house is sold to an absentee landlord or an investor who either personally or by way of his renters turns the property into a boarding house. And imagine that you're living next door, across the street from this house, and suddenly what was once a single-family house turns into a place where cars and vans and trucks with trailers are in and out of the driveway day and night. And imagine a situation where, in addition to that, a parade of people, all different people, in kind of work clothes or neon vests, come and go all hours of the day and the night, every single day, 24/7. And imagine these cars when they come and go, idling at the bottom of a driveway, leaning on the horn day and night, because they're picking up whoever it is that they're ferrying around, all hours of the day and night. And imagine the garbage at the end of that driveway that is piled high, spilling, exploding, and left there to rot for days at a time, despite heat, the torrential rains that are now an everyday event in our climate change world. This picture that I am painting is what we are hearing that is going on in Rockland, in Clarkstown, and it tells the story of how a once suburban single-family house essentially gets turned into a holding space for disenfranchised people who are given a mattress in exchange on the floor, in exchange for manual labor, and they are picked up and ferried around because likely they have no driver's licenses, or perhaps they are illegal. Maybe they don't have working papers, and while the exploitation done to them is a horrible thing, homeowners are having to put up with this kind of a scenario, in their own house. And the homeowner really becomes the warning system, the early warning system. They are the ones who will call the town, they'll call the police, the code enforcement officer, the elected officials. Maybe when they're frustrated enough, they'll move on to a town attorney, and they'll be pulling their hair out because they just cannot get any satisfaction. And they'll be told that, well, it takes a long time to build a case, and you can't just evict people, and, well, we can't establish that until we get a warrant to get into the house so we can search it. And this will be a dance that a homeowner who is living with this will go through indefinitely. This is happening everywhere, is what you will be told. This is what we hear. Everybody is saying this is happening everywhere in Rockland County. And we will stop and wonder if this has been happening for a long time, or are we to believe that this is a result of just some sudden surge of immigration or immigrants that found their way to Rockland County? I think that this has been going on for a long time. I think that what it is that let's call them slumlords know that they can outrun and outpace towns because towns, it seems, either don't have the resources, the skill, the chops, the motivation to crack down on all of these situations. Occasionally we hear about these and we hear there's a press conference and we hear about a crackdown, but even in those cases, if you follow what's going on in the courts, one can see that very little changes from month to month. And the exploitation of these boarding houses goes on inside, and the neighbors who suffer this continue to have an impact on their quality of life, possibly an impact on their home values, and a very uneasy sense because you don't know who you're living next to, and it sort of breaks the continuity. You don't necessarily feel safe. It really rattles the sense of stability on your street. So inevitably, it's the neighbors eventually start to all kind of figure out that they've got a blight in their street, and at the same time, slumlords take advantage of this because once they start to buy one property, then they move on to possibly buying a second one and a fourth one and a 10th one, and they start to figure out, I can get away with this. And where is the neighborhood where this is, or where is the town or the village, where this is feasible? Because the slumlord's thinking, wow, my business model is I'll outrun the town, I'll outrun the threats, I'll outrun the violations for as long as I can, and that is just the price of doing business in Rockland County. So, the county also has a responsibility to crack down on this. The towns have responsibility to address this. And the longer it goes on and the more it metastasizes, it becomes normalized, which is really just really dangerous to everybody.
Hey, Tina, before you go on, real quick, we do have a caller who's got a question for you, and I believe it's on this topic, so you do like to get to callers real quick. And I have to warn you, we do have a show coming up at 9:30, so we do have to bail in just a couple minutes. But hi, Gordon, I believe that's you, on with Tina Traster.
Yeah, Tina, I read your story, and I got to congratulate you. You've done a great synopsis of the problem. I've been fighting this for over 40 years. It's extremely complex. I agree with everything you've put together. And I can explain to your listeners and your readers why this has been allowed to proliferate. And there are tens of thousands of people living in substandard housing making millions of dollars tax rate. So maybe we should get together. I'll explain to you what we've been working on, what we found.
Yeah, I welcome that. I think that we need more voices. I was going to actually move on to say that there is a prescription. Let's go back to why is this happening? Well, long-term problem here is that there's just been a lack of, forget the phrase affordable housing. There's a lack of places for people of this strata of our society to live in, and again, the slum landlords, and they know this, and they take advantage of it. So when you don't have affordable spaces in Rockland County, but you have a county that is so service-driven, this is an economic solution that landlords have figured out.
I agree with you, except the majority of these tenants we found are illegal immigrants who make for ideal tenants because they're afraid to go to the authorities to complain.
Yes, but I don't necessarily think that they are the recent surge of illegal immigrants that came over from New York City. This has been festering for a very long time. And
absolutely.
What?
Absolutely, you're 100% correct. But a lot of them are coming here because this housing is available, and then they get work from the landlord.
Well, right. I mean, what you see is you'll have a slum landlord, and then they will rent to, let's say, a landscaper or some sort of a contractor, and then that contractor will throw a bunch of, people into a house, and which is turning it into a boarding house, and then there's his labor pool right there.
Yep, exactly.
And it's the thing is, it's in plain sight. And so, one thing that towns have got to do is they have got to become more proactive by enlarging their code enforcement staffs, securing search warrants faster than they do, engaging the community to participate in the same way that we've done neighborhood watches, in the past. And enforce these violations. Rental registry.
And Tina, I'm sorry, we have to go because we do have a show coming up at 9:30. We have lots of open lines available tomorrow. If you want to call back tomorrow at some point, we can talk about this more in depth. Gordon, thank you for your call as well. If you want to know more about Rockland County Business Journal, just go to rcbizjournal.com. You can sign up for email newsletters and all that there. Thank you so much, Tina. We'll talk to you again soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.